There are places in the desert where getting lost can be difference between life and death. But in 2014, one Nevada hiker went into the desert looking for something he believed he had already found once before, a cave. He said its entrance was shaped like a perfect capital M. He said that as he approached it, his entire body began to vibrate. The closer he got, the stronger the sensation became. So he turned around. Then, after thousands of people online became fascinated by his story, he decided to go back and find it. He recorded that search. He never found the cave, and weeks later, his phone was discovered near an abandoned mine shaft. Kenny Veach was never seen again. So, what happened to him? And was the mysterious M cave ever real? Hello everyone, welcome to Mysteon. Today we are investigating the strange disappearance of Kenny Veach and the mystery of the cave that may have been at the center of it all. Kenny Veach was a Las Vegas resident and an experienced long-distance hiker. He regularly explored the harsh desert and mountains of Nevada, often hiking alone and far away from established trails. He was not someone who had suddenly decided to go exploring. This was something he was already comfortable doing. Then, sometime in 2014, Kenny left a comment on YouTube video discussing unusual claims connected to Area 51. In that comment, Kenny described something strange. He said that during one of his hikes near Nellis Air Force Base, he had discovered a hidden cave. According to him, the entrance had the shape of a perfect capital letter M, but the shape of the cave was not frightened him. Kenny claimed that when he started approaching the entrance, his entire body began to vibrate, and the closer he got, the worse the sensation became. Eventually, he became frightened and left. It was a strange story, but at first, it was just a comment on the internet. Then people started asking questions. Could Kenny find the cave again? Could he show people where it was? And perhaps most importantly, was the story even true? According to Nevada magazine, the attention eventually convinced Kenny to return to the desert and search for the cave again. This time he bought a camera. In October 2014, Kenny uploaded a video called M Cave Hike. The video is important because this was not simply someone telling a story years later. Kenny was actually documenting his attempt to find the place he had described. He walked through the Nevada desert, explaining what he remembered and trying to identify the landscape. He seemed confident that he would recognize the cave when he saw it. But there was a problem. He couldn't find it. After searching the area, Kenny eventually admitted that the cave had escaped him. He had expected the search to be much easier, and that should have been the end of the story. A strange cave that couldn't be relocated. An unusual experience that might have had a perfectly ordinary explanation. But Kenny was not finished. After the failed search, he continued talking about the M cave online. The mystery had now become much bigger than his original story. Some people believed him, others thought the cave was simply an ordinary geological formation that had been misunderstood, and some suspected the entire story might have been exaggerated. But there was another detail that made the situation even stranger. During his documented search, Kenny mentioned seeing a black ram watching him from a ridge. Whether the animal had any connection to what happened later is impossible to know. There is no evidence that it did, but the detail became another part of growing mystery surrounding his disappearance. Then came November. Kenny planned another trip into the desert. This time he intended to search again, and this would be his final known journey. On November 10, 2014, Kenny disappeared. He had gone into the Nevada desert alone. He told his girlfriend about his plans, but apparently did not give her a precise location for where he intended to search. When he failed to return, he was reported missing. A search began. And this is where the story changes from an internet mystery into a real missing person case. Searchers looked through the rugged terrain around the area where Kenny was believed to have gone. But there was no sign of him. No body, no clear trail, no confirmed explanation. Then on November 22, investigators found something. Kenny's cell phone was discovered near an abandoned mine shaft in the Sheep Range. His vehicle had been found near the trailhead. The phone suggested that Kenny had reached the general area he intended to explore, but it didn't answer the most important question: where was Kenny? A search of the mine shaft did not solve the mystery, and despite efforts to locate him, he was never found. From here, several theories began circulating. The simplest explanation is also one of the most difficult to prove. Kenny may have suffered an accident. The Nevada desert is enormous, rugged, and unforgiving. A person can become injured far from a road or trail, especially while hiking alone. There are steep slopes, rocky terrains, extreme temperatures, and abandoned mine workings. If Kenny fell, became injured, or became disoriented, his body could have remained hidden somewhere difficult to reach. Another possibility is that he entered an abandoned mine. His cell phone being found near a mine shaft naturally attracted attention, but investigators did not find him there, and there is no confirmed evidence that he entered the shaft. Then there is the theory that something more deliberate happened. Some have suggested foul play. Others have connected the story to the military areas and Area 51 because of the cave's supposed location. But this is where we have to separate the mystery from the speculation. There is no verified evidence showing that Kenny discovered a secret military facility. There is no confirmed evidence that the government was involved. And there is no reliable evidence proving that the M cave itself had anything supernatural about it. Those ideas are part of the mythology that grew around the case, not established facts. There is also a much simpler question. Did the M cave actually exist? Kenny said that it did. He described it in detail. He returned to the search for it. But during his recorded search, he couldn't locate it. And after his disappearance, nobody has conclusively identified the exact cave he described. That leaves us with an unusual situation. The disappearance is real. Kenny was a real person. His cell phone was found. His vehicle was found. A search was conducted, but the central object of the mystery, the M-shaped cave, remains unconfirmed. And that distinction matters, because the most fascinating part of the story may not be what was inside the cave. It may be that we don't even know exactly where the cave was. More than a decade later, Kenny Veach remains missing. His story has become one of the internet's most enduring mysteries, partly because it contains something that modern mysteries rarely have: a documented trail leading directly into the unknown. A man described a strange place, he went looking for it, he filmed that search, then he disappeared during another journey into the same unforgiving landscape. Maybe the answer is completely ordinary. Maybe Kenny suffered an accident somewhere in the desert. Maybe he entered an abandoned mine. Maybe something happened that investigators simply couldn't reconstruct. Or perhaps the truth is still hidden somewhere among the mountains and valleys of Nevada. But until Kenny is found, one question remains. What happened to Kenny Veach? And somewhere out there, did the M cave ever really exist? And if you have a theory about what happened to Kenny, or what the M cave really was, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this investigation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Mysteon and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.